Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ben Lee, three-time agency owner. I've been starting and selling agency businesses since I was 23 years old. Today we're going to be talking about 7 tips on hiring the best possible coach for your business. So hiring coaches was one of my biggest investment categories in 2020 and 2021. When the pandemic happened, I had left my agency and I was stuck home like everybody else. So I decided to invest in personal development and some self-care. I hired over a dozen coaches, productivity coaches, speed reading coaches, fitness coaches, biohacking coaches, finance coaches, and executive coaches. These are some of the takeaways that I learned from identifying, qualifying, and hiring the right coach for you. I only realized the power of coaches when I merged my agency business with another organization in 2017. We hired 2 coaches to help us with that process, and ever since then, they've been a pretty permanent part of my life and my business. Prior to 2017, I had a collection of mentors that I could tap and of course counsel that I can ask advice for, but I never had anything formal or I never had coaches engaged by me or my organization. Okay, so tip number 1, calculate what the ROI potential is for hiring that specific coach. I always found that a good coach should bring you ROI in knowledge, time, and of course money. By hiring them, you're learning how to avoid certain pitfalls they may have made in their business, creating more value for your organization, charging a higher hourly rate, and so forth. I use the Naval-Ravikant method of calculating my hourly rate and making it as aspirational as I possibly can. So let's say $3,000 an hour, and knowing if I hire a coach, can they help me defend my time and make more money from engaging with them? Okay, so now it's time to find a good coach. Tip number 2, start hanging out in LinkedIn. That's where most executive coaches are going to be engaging or hanging out. They probably have executive coach in their byline, they're creating or contributing content, or they're being featured on guest podcast episodes. Tim Ferriss is notorious for bringing his executive coaches on, same with Noah Kagan. So identifying these people in different social networks and specifically business categories will help you create a list that you can start. Tip number 3, create a list of questions and interview style that you would like to follow for your executive coach or somebody that you're thinking of hiring. I found that coaching is so similar to dating. You have to have an authentic connection, it's gotta be real, and you guys have to be able to get along. There's gonna be some bumpy moments in coaching, but you need to be able to work through those. When people have hired me or wanna hire me, I have a very direct style, and I can immediately know very early on in the conversation if we're gonna be a fit or we won't be. And that's okay. My objective is not to, please everybody. It's to help the person on the other end make a decision whether I'm the right coach for them or not. Go to Clarity FM. I found my executive coach, Eric Strauss, there. I have a profile as well where I get booked for calls. It's an amazing platform where you could zero in on your specific niche or find a coach for the things you're trying to solve for. Maybe it's sales or marketing or leadership. Tip number 4, ask your friends, business leaders, people you trust, whether it's an organization you're a part of or maybe a Facebook community. Ask people that you can count on for specific referrals for executive coaches, business leaders, organizations that help with coaching. So you're creating a list of people that you can qualify and take your time in hiring. This is not gonna happen overnight. A good coach can easily take you to 3 to 6 months, and that's okay. Tip number 5, hire a coach who has run an organization like yours previously. You don't want to hire a coach who has just worked as a coach their entire life. You wanna have a coach who's got a good balance of methodologies they're using, whether it's EOS or scaling up, combined with real life practical experience from your niche. If you are running a design studio or development shop, you want to hire somebody who understands what it was like to have run an agency in their previous life or career. Tip number 6, hold yourself accountable. At the end of the day, you have to be the one who does the work. You can hire the best coach in the world, but if you're not going to implement what they say, then it's going to be a complete waste of time and money. It's very similar to hiring a personal trainer at the gym. You can do all the workouts in the world, but if you're gonna go home and eat a bunch of chocolate cookies and chips, then you're not likely to burn fat or create muscle. So remember, You need to be disciplined. You need to be in a place in your life where you can actually do the work and you can make the investment of time and energy. Tip number 7, speak to references. Don't be afraid to ask a potential coach hire that you want to speak with people who previously worked with him. It's great that they might have reviews on their Clarity FM page or their LinkedIn recommendations, but there's nothing quite like actually talking to somebody who's gone through the process of working with them from start to finish and asking them questions like, how was your experience with them? Would you hire them again? Do you think you got ROI? What was the most valuable thing you learned from them? Even if it doesn't work, you're gonna get a lot of new insights from those reference checks. All right, folks, so those were my 7 tips on hiring a better coach. As I'm back on YouTube, I'm constantly looking for inspiration on new ideas, so please feel free to write me on one of my social channels and drop me a note. And as always, please hit the subscribe button. I will be producing content much more consistently, so I look forward to connecting with you guys here online and offline.